God be praised. They want you. Maybe they just got a meet or hurt or whatever the case may be. God has come to the place of all we pray for this lady's family at this time. All we don't need to talk about it. We need to pray for him, love him, and show him care. All we do, all we do is pray for him. Be obedient, Lord. Get every time you pray. Lots of poor Sunday school, some here, Sunday school, some there. God, show every part, show every prayer box up here. God, all we can pray, so will be done. Lord, we thank you.
Faithful to day, As we sweep through the beautiful day, Father alone will know all about it. Father alone will understand why you have my brother living the sunshine. Will understand me all by and by. When we see Jesus coming in glory, when He comes running home in the sky, then we shall meet Him in that bright day. Will understand me all by and by. Father upon me, know all about me. Father upon me, understand why. Cheer up, my brother, live in the sunshine. Will understand me all by and by. Thanks, $277. Sweet is the song I'm singing today. I'm redeemed. I'm redeemed. From sorrow and wasted away. I have been redeemed. I'm redeemed. I love you. Glory, glory. Christ is mine. All to me. My God is mine. I have been redeemed. My joy, my good. I'm redeemed. I'm redeemed. My grace shall come. I have been redeemed. I'm redeemed. I love you. Glory, glory. Christ is mine. All to me. I have been redeemed. I'm redeemed. I'm redeemed. Glory. I have been redeemed.
Wearing you out. Hey, if you're redeemed, you should be able to say it.
No, sir, that's the Lord, sir.
Should be, I'm redeemed. I'm redeemed.
Everybody, by the blood of the Lord.
Brother Marshall, Brother Josh, take up the memorial offering, faith promise. Change for the little church offering.
All you can do is, Lord, ask you to take this off, Lord, let you use the left bell of Black Kingdom, Lord. Lord, we just ask you to touch this service, and I serve the Lord, Father, just give you all the praise, honor, and glory, in Jesus' name we pray. Amen, amen. I'm
And live in this world in a house of gold. My God, and my soul. Oh, sinner, hear me when I fall and to live in this world in a house of
Amen.
You know, the beauty of Jesus is the light. You can't see. He is the light. No.
Amen. It's good to be back in the Lord's house.
Amen.
Amen. Thankful for all that God has done this week. Man, I hope and pray everybody had a good week. I had a pretty decent one myself. I can tell you this, my heart works a whole lot better now than it did before. James is looking at me. What is he going to say? Amen. I ride with James during the daytime and, it makes your heart work a whole lot better, don't it, Brother Joe? Amen. Our worker told him the other day, and James says, I don't want to hear it. James was pretty sick the other morning, and right there in Tennessee, he pulled over. He said, Doug, you're gonna have to drive. And our worker told him, I drove the rest of the way up in Virginia. And our worker told him, said, hey, he's a more better driver than you. He said, I slept good while he was driving. But all jokes aside, yeah. Amen. But all jokes aside, I am thankful for all that God's done. Amen. My family, they say you're happier now than you've ever been. That's the truth. I am.
Where's the Lord for me?
My daughter told me this morning, she said, Dad, you're not as ill as you once was. You know, when you're not happy, you're going to be ill.
That's it.
And you'll be a point where your family can't change. I'm thankful, Brother James, that God has allowed this to take place where I can be happy.
Come on, Lord.
Man, you say, well, preaching with God, you can be happy. Listen, with God, you are happy. But sometimes you're in a certain circumstance where you're not.
That's it, Lord.
And man, you need to allow God to show you the right way to go. And it took a year of praying before I ever made this decision to do this. But so far it's worked out pretty good. Amen. Now it might fall to pieces tomorrow. We don't know. Amen. But as of right now, I'm able to be happier than I've ever been. My family seems to enjoy me more than they've ever enjoyed me. Amen. I met my daughter this morning. She said, Daddy, I'm going to Greenville with Cole next weekend. I said, are you? I said, I ain't letting you go that far. And she said, well, Dad, you let me go to Georgia with her. Nicole's my sister. And I said, well, how far? I said, Georgia's farther than Greenville. She said, I said, well, how far is it to Greenville? She said, well, I don't know. I said, well, how far is it to Atlanta or to Georgia? She said, Nicole said it's 2 something. I said, 2 miles is a whole lot closer than whatever Greenville is. And I was confusing her. Then she went off talking about being something else. But you know, this morning we should be able to be happy. It's not the message this morning. Food for thought. You should be able to be happy with whatever's going on in your life.
Come on now.
Number one, you've got God. Number two, you've got God with you. You should be able to be happy. Amen. I mean, you look at Brother Joe, and as I look at him, I can't help but smile this morning. And the reason is because Brother Josh, I remember, and it really shows out to me. We was in, where was we at? Home Depot. And I saw a joyful sign. We come up to the register to check out. Tyler knows what I'm talking about. He wasn't there, but I told him. And you've got myself, Brother Josh, Brother Joe, and Brother Roger all standing there. And the cash register lady looks at Joe and says, "You are a cute one." I leaned over to Joe and I said, "Joe, get her number." Joe said, "I ain't sharing my money with no woman." She said, "Honey, I've got my own money." And Joe's mouth flew open. You can see all the way down to his tonsils. Well, what are you saying? We laughed about that. And that's been about 2 months ago, and we're still laughing about it today because it was funny then, and it's funny today. But we was able to be having a joyful time with one another. You know why we can't have a joyful time a lot of times with one another? Come on, bro. Because we get stuck in a temptation spot, and we don't know how to come out of temptation. We get hung in that temptation, Brother Ricky, and we don't know how to come out.
So if you got the Bibles, if you would, with me, turn to the book of James, chapter number 1, simply titled this morning, Temptation. The reason we can't have joy today is because we fall to temptation. And don't be quiet on me this morning.
You're right.
Chapter number 1, start reading in verse number 11. And the sun is no sooner risen with a burning heat, but it is wherewith the grass and the flower thereof falleth, and the grace of the fashion of it furnishes. Now, don't hold me to my reading. I went to Reynolds High School. So also shall the rich man fade away in his ways. Blessed is the man that endureth temptation. For when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord hath promised to them that love him. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God.
God can't tempt you.
No, sir.
For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. Then when lust has conceived, it bringeth forth sin, and sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. Do not err, my beloved brethren. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. You be seen. When temptation comes upon you, tonight, this morning might be more teaching than it is preaching. But when temptation comes upon you, you should have some D's in your mind. You should be determined. Determined to what? Determined to stand this temptation. We're all tempted by stuff. And when we give in to that temptation is of the devil. But we all are tempted by stuff. One of the biggest temptations I know of right now is sports. Brother Ricky, right now, today, there's a big temptation going on. If you love racing, you love drag racing, there's a big temptation going on today. Today, after church, you got the Martinsville 500 going to be racing. Then starting at 5 o'clock, Brother Josh, you got the Spring Nationals from Las Vegas. Man, how do you know this? Because Friday night, me and JD watched qualifying for the Spring Nationals. We love us some racing. But then they don't stop there. Once the Spring Nationals is over, if you're a wrestling fan, tonight at 7 o'clock, you got the biggest wrestling event of the year. Every year, you got WrestleMania. Then tomorrow night, I'm just trying to show you how a sports fan can be tempted and drawn away from God. Then tomorrow night, you got North Carolina playing Villanova for the national title. So then, Brother John, how many times do you get tempted, Andrew, during a basketball game, a college basketball game, to yell and scream at the TV?
Yeah.
During this past Super Bowl, how many got tempted to go out there and wring Cam Newton's neck? You get what I'm saying? You get tempted by this stuff. How do you know this, preacher? Because I was one of them standing on my front porch looking in the window going, it's a foul. And I mean, me and Andrew screamed it loud during the Super Bowl. And our neighbors turned on their lights and come out and looked around outside and see what was going on. By sports, you can be tempted to do stuff that you normally would not do. By things in your life. And see, you really wouldn't be given into it if it wasn't that you're allowing this temptation now to overtake you.
Yeah.
What is wrong with sitting down watching a ball game, not saying a word, not screaming? Can you do it? No, because you're tempted by it. You know why you're tempted? Because you want to see it. Perfect example. How many times you say, well, that's a foul, and it not be a foul? You're tempted by it till all of a sudden this evil twin comes out of it. Where's Mason at? Last night Mason looked at me, what you call yourself, dude? Huh? Madison. His evil twin Madison come out. And Amy, where's Amy? Amy. She's gonna ignore me now. Come here, Amy. I'm gonna show y'all something. Come here, girl. Here. Come on up here. And I'm gonna use her. And Missy probably knows where I'm going. I started something Friday night with this little young. I get her in my arm and I climb up on the banisters of my house, and then I'd hug her real hard and we'd jump off. Wouldn't we? And she'd go, look, Mama, we're jumping. Well, last night I was standing there on the porch and I looked and Amy was over on them rails climbing them. By herself. So I went and grabbed her and said, no. She walked up, she went, I mean, exactly like that. I had said something to that girl I'd never said in my life. So, it tempted her to get mad. And she got mad. What are you getting at though? See, temptation comes on the smallest things. See, because of what I did with her in my arms, it tempted her to go do it. Then I had to correct it. So, because of my temptation to mess with her and play around with her, she had to get in trouble. Because she thought it was all right. Our temptations sometimes don't right at affect us. Sometimes it affects anyone around us. It'll affect the ones around us. You don't believe me? Look in this scripture here. This morning, verse number 12. Blessed is the man that endureth temptation. For when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life. Now listen, it says, blessed is the man that endureth. That does not mean succumb to. That does not mean give in to. That means, Brother Josh, stand and walk through it and not give in to. Fight your way. James was talking on teaching on fasting this morning, and he was talking about how you're not supposed to eat and all this. And I love you, Brother James, but I was hungry when you was talking about it. And a temptation of mine is food. It's a big temptation of mine. Yesterday we sat down at Pizza Hut, me and James did, and he ordered a hamburger and pepperoni on his side of the medium pizza. On my side, I had hamburger, pepperoni, and sauce. We eat, Brother Joe, we got to eat, and we got down there. I'd eat a whole lot more than he had. I looked at James, there's one piece left. I said, I can't eat that. He said, I can't eat it. But the longer I looked at that piece, boy, the more I wanted. Oh, and guess what happened? I kept being tempted by that piece of food there. I kept looking, boy, Brother Ricky, I could just taste that sausage and that hamburger, that pepperoni, boy, eating on it. And I'm sorry if y'all are hungry this morning, but I was tempted by that piece. Now, if I'd have been able to get through, and I know you say, well, preacher, that ain't no sin, and it ain't no sin on that, but it's a perfect example of how we can succumb to it real quickly. If I would have just fought that desire to fought that temptation, that little piece of pizza they could have thrown away or given to somebody else. But what I did, I picked it up, I ate it. And then I paid for it. Because then we went back to work and I had to stand up in heavy beams. And it's hard to bend over when you got a full stomach. My stomach was so full, and a lot of times just have to bend over and do bowls like this. And boy, I'm telling you, it got harder and harder. That temptation was coming back to hurt me. What do you get, that preacher? If you end up giving in to your temptation and you don't stand against that temptation, you don't endure that temptation, it will hurt you this morning.
That's right.
It will hurt you. Not only will it hurt you physically, but it'll hurt you spiritually. It'll hurt you mentally. Mentally, you will not be able to stand anything. When you give in to temptation, that old song is tempted and tried. Off made to wonder. Didn't we just sing that? Tempted and tried. So I got to thinking on this. So we need to be determined to stand. But number two, you don't need to be deceived and fall. See, in temptation comes to being deceived. And see, that's the devil. He'll deceive you. Because the Bible says, what does the Bible say? That when we are tempted, it's not of God, right? But it's of Satan. But then what does it go on to say? We have to give in. We have to do what? Look here in verse number 14. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own what? Lust and enticed. So what does that tell you? When it comes to the temptation, it's not of God, it's of the devil. But then you're not made to do it. It's your own lust that does it. What does that come back to? Because full circle, 360 degrees back to you. You make that choice. That is your choice, not anyone else's choice. Going back to the ball game. Does anyone make you jump up and scream and throw stuff at the TV and kick at it and break TVs and break stuff? And I mean, no one's made you do it. You do it on your own. You're enticed to do it, but it's your own that you make that choice. When a car cuts you off and you pull up beside them, and you shake your fist at them and point at them and say, "I'll whoop your hind end." No, I'm joking, but James, and I want to use this if you don't mind. James one time car cut him off, and he pulled up beside him, was shaking his fist at him, and they looked at him and went, "I'll pray for you." James backed off and got him behind him. He got very quiet. But we do it of our own doings. We make that decision. Yeah. Today, we are going to make that decision. Today, you might be tempted of something. The devil might come and tempt you of doing something that you never dreamed you would do. It's going to be up to you whether you do it or not.
There you go. That's it.
Whether you're going to be deceived and fall to that temptation, or you're going to stand and be delivered through that temptation. See, you got to be determined to stand, deceived to fall, but then you also, now remember I said thieves of temptation. You got to be delivered from it. And see, Jesus made a way to be delivered. But then through that temptation, you be destroyed. Because when sin is finished, what does it do? The Bible, we just read it. Then when lust has conceived, and it bringeth forth sin, and sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth. So you'll be destroyed by sin. It will destroy you. See, when lust is conceived, when you give in to that temptation, when it is conceived that you're going to give in to it, then it becomes a sin. Being tempted is not a sin. The Bible says in one spot, count it all joy, brethren, that you fall in divers temptation. Why does it say count it a joy to fall in divers temptation? It don't mean that it's a happy place, but the joy is when you fall into it that you come out the other side of it. You don't stay in that temptation. You don't give to that temptation. You keep going and come out the other side of it. There's the joy in it. The joy is coming through it and coming out on the other end. But you can be destroyed today by it because sin bringeth forth death. Sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. See that? And now we're not talking about a physical death. We're talking about a spiritual death. Your walk with God is no longer there like it once was. Your walk with God is no longer there because you're being tempted. And I can ask this morning, and if you was honest, how many would be honest? And I'm not really wanting you to raise your hands, but I'll tell you for myself. When you are tempted, have you ever fell into that temptation? Yes, I have. Have you ever been destroyed by that temptation? Yes, I have. What happened, preacher? You had to give it to God and come out the other side.
Right.
But it took me a while. I had to stay in that temptation for a little while. Why? Because have you ever heard the old saying, grass ain't always greener on the other side? I thought it was greener, but it wasn't that green. It was pretty brown. There was no health in that grass. And that grass was death. I had to go back where there's greener pastures. See, my father owns, and if I can say it right, I always mess up, the cattle of 1,000 hills, I believe is how it says. That's my father. God. So if he owns the cattle of 1,000 hills, he's got to have some green grass. He's got to have something that I can live on. I'm not saying be a vegetarian, because I don't think no way I'll ever be a vegetarian. But what I'm getting at is you've got to get somewhere where you can get some growth. You can get some nourishment. You can get something. See, when you're in that temptation, you can get that. That temptation, you can't get that. When you fall into that temptation, that's why it's so easy for it to destroy you today. It's because you fell in it. But then, number 5 this morning, you got to be delegated to win. You got to be delegated to win. We all know what's going on in America today with presidential elections. You got on the Democratic side, you got Clinton and Sanders running. On the Republican side, you got Trump and Cruz and Casey. I'm glad you said his name. It takes me forever to remember his name. But you got them running. And what are they trying to do? They're trying to beat each other, but there's something they're after. Delegates. Why are they after delegates? Because they have to have a certain amount of delegates to be able to run for president. Yeah, 1,237 on the Republican side, 2,300 something on the Democratic side. And the first one to reach that is your nomination for your Republican Democrat. Nobody can say, well, no, they're not going to be. If they reach that number, they're the delegate. Means what? They're delegated to win. That's who they're saying we're backing, and they're going to win. Now, that don't mean they're going to win it, but on the Republican side, say, and I'm just using this, I don't know, but say it's Donald Trump. If he gets the delegates, which it looks like he's going to, but if he gets it, then the Republican Party saying this right here. They're saying, this is our delegate. We're delegating him to go win this race. On the Democratic side, you've got Sanders and Clinton, and right now Clinton's running off with it. So the Democratic side saying, this is our candidate. We're delegating her, and she's delegated to win this. Now go win. Well, what happens, Brother Josh, if on one side or the other or both sides, they don't reach the delegates?
It's hung party. It's not the convention, it's never, it's bad. Because then, there's not just one person delegated to go. There's three of them on the Republican side, if they all were going to the convention, what is that, in June, I think it is? And not a single one of them got the amount they need, then the Republican Party then chooses. They choose who they're gonna send. And they've already said it will not be Donald Trump, they're gonna send Cruz. It's who they're gonna throw behind and push. If it gets to that, well, but you say, well, preachers and they're delegated, but not really, because they're not the delegates that's supposed to have. So they come up, say again, they come up short. See, we should be delegated to win today, but Brother Joe, by this, we're delegated by God to win in temptation. See, all this popularity vote and all this going on, Brother Ricky, and Donald Trump's way out the head, but he still might not be the one that they push. But God come by and he said, Josh, guess what? You're going to be tempted, but I'm delegating you, buddy. You're going to win. And I've given you all you need. You've got all the delegates you need. You go ahead and go win that temptation. He goes to Brother Ricky. He says, Ricky, and it ain't a split party. It ain't a split decision. God backs everyone and says, I'll push you and I'll show you the way to get through this temptation. All you got to do is follow me. You are delegated to win. But it's up to us then to do something.
That's right, yes.
Joe, when you was in the military, the last time you ran the mile for BT, what did you run in? Well, 5 miles, whatever it was. But then you run it pretty quick. You had to meet a certain standard, didn't you? Kenny ran in 5 miles in 6 minutes. Oh. I was getting ready to say, if you do 5 miles in 6 minutes, you're doing better than a car can do. 1 mile in 6 minutes when Kenny was in the military. You do that today? All right. Well, what are you getting at? Joe and Kenny was in the military and they had to make certain criteria to stay. I remember, I'm closing, I'm trying to close. I remember Brother Ricky, I thought it was the end of the world when we had to do so many push-ups. We had to do so many pull-ups, so many sit-ups, and had to run a mile and do all that. I thought, Lord have mercy. But you know, there's something always stuck out to me. Because I was thinking, I'll never do it. I remember, and Joe can tell you, Fort Sill, Oklahoma is one of the hottest places on earth. Kenny can tell you. It is one of the hottest places on earth. And I remember being out there running. And then being a guy right behind me going, you better go, you better go. He was pushing the whole way. You better go, you better go. You better keep running, you better keep going. And you know what I was at? Listen, I wasn't in the military at the time. I was just with ROTC and stuff. You know what I was thinking? I want my mama. I mean, they was pushing. And they pushed you to make it. They pushed you. They didn't just let you fall out and say, I can't do it. I'm going to give up and I'm going to fall out. And they had something called a straggler patrol. And when you hit that straggler patrol, you hated life. So I watched them. There was no way I was going in that straggler patrol. Why was that? Because they'd run about 10 minutes. Then they'd stop and do push-ups. Then they'd have to run the rest of the way doing jumping jacks while running. I mean, they just made them, so they give them down the road. There was no way I wanted to be part of that. But boy, I kept getting slower, Kenny. I kept getting slower. That guy come up, that sergeant come up beside me, and he goes, you better go. You better go. And I say, buddy, you're right. I ain't going back there. And I went. I got back up in formation, got back in formation, and kept going. Why did it give you that energy? Because, Brother Josh, I was being tempted to give up.
I was being tempted to give in. I didn't want to continue. I looked behind me. I saw what that was coming up. I saw how close that straggler patrol was getting. Like I said, I wasn't in the military. I was just in ROTC at that time. I was in high school. I looked back and I was like, that man that was pushing me, Carl, was my first sergeant for ROTC. Here I am, 17 years old, wanting to give in. And I look at him. He was probably 60, 65 at that time. He's running, he ain't even out of breath. I'm thinking, if he's gonna fight through me, I can fight through it. Now, I don't have to be back there to see what's gonna take place, see the consequences. See, when you're coming to that temptation, or you're about to the point of giving up, take a look behind you and see what the consequences are. That should give you a desire to delegate, to go forward. Yeah. To win. To win. I'm going to use this one more example. I'll close it with. 2 years ago, we was playing a team that our softball team hasn't been down. Single game all year. We've been way out in front all year. They batted first and they scored 9 runs in the first inning. We came up, Pierce team did, and we didn't score none. We went right in order, 1, 2, 3. We came out, and they come back up in the second inning. They scored 6 more runs. I was standing there at the edge of the dugout as the head coach, and I began to watch them walking off the field. Run rule. Both innings, run rule. I watched Kara walk in the dugout and she was like this. I watched some of the good, and I'll say it like this, probably some of the greatest players I've ever seen in softball at that age walk in the dugout. Ricky come to a game one time and he said, I ain't coming tonight. He said, them girls are too loud. They screamed, they hollered the whole game having fun in that dugout. That dugout was quiet. I mean, even trouble, little Erin, she wasn't saying a word. I began to look and I saw some tears in some of them's eyes. So before we went back out on the field, because we went in order again, we'd only put 6 batters up the plate. The other team had batted through twice on us already. I gathered them around in a big old huddle, in a big old circle. I said, girls, what is wrong with you? We're beat. We give up. We quit. I said, you can come back. I said, you've got to be determined to win. You've got to be determined to see this through. I said, you can't quit now. We're in the middle of a game. You quit now, it's a forfeit. It's automatic loss. I said, get your heads in the game. Let's go. Those same girls have been hitting it out there in the outfield and bouncing off the fence. They're striking out now. These girls are hitting grounders and they're throwing them out at first. When they come back in, they got 3 up, 3 down. They come back in, they had a little smile. They batted, scored 9 runs. Our team scored 9 runs. Now we're within 6 runs. And now I'm starting to see a big smile on their face. They went back out, they give up 4 runs this time. So now we're down 10 again. And in the 4th inning, in that league, if you're down 10 runs and you don't score any in that inning, that's ball game. It's called run rule. I looked at them, dropped them in a big old huddle again. Right before they went fast. This is your chance. I said, you can score now or you give up. I said, it's your chance. Little girl looked at me and said, Coach, there is no way we can win. She said, I'm going up there and I'm taking 3 straight pitches. She said, and if there's strikes, there's strikes. She said, I will not swing the bat. She said, where be? I said, you get up there and bat. Really what I want to do is start her up by the back of her head and say, look, girl, don't give up. But what can you do? She got up there. She got that bat back first pitch. She hit it all the way to the fence. She got a triple out of it. She's standing over on third base. I was coaching third base. I said, what happened? She said, shut up. I said, don't give up. Turn around to the dugout. I said, don't give up. Church, don't give up. You know what happened? We played 6 innings. We won by 1 run. The team that had give up in the second inning now all of a sudden was winners. What are you getting at, preacher? Listen, if you give up in the middle of the battle, in the middle of the temptation, you're going to lose. But at that time, when that battle gets so hard and so tough, that's the time not to give up. That's the time to keep struggling and keep trying to go on. Don't give up. When you see, that's the thing about temptation. When temptation hits, you'll battle it at first. You'll battle it hard. But then, as the longer it goes into it, now it's a battle. Now it's moved from more of a temptation. You're battling it, and you're battling it, and the longer you get in that battle, you start getting a little bit weaker. You start getting a little bit weaker, and it seems like, well, I'm not going to win this battle. I'm not going to beat this temptation. But when you get to that point, is when you need to hit your knees and say, Lord, give me strength. And be determined to stand and go through the other end.
That's right.
And then when you come out the other end, what does it say? Look this. I'm going to read it. Blessed is the man that endureth temptation. For when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord hath promised to them that love him. So when you come out the other end, you'll receive the crown of life. Yeah. He's promised to all of us that if we'll just endure, you'll get that love him. I preached a message a long time ago, Brother Ricky, you probably remember, the many crowns that we can receive when we get to heaven. It's been what? 6, 7, 8 years ago I preached that message. The many crowns we can receive when we get to heaven. But right here is the easiest crown you ever get. All you have to do is endure. Just endure temptation. As we stand to our feet. His head bowed, eyes closed, no one looking around. Maybe you've been in a temptation here lately. Maybe there's been something going on in your life that has been tempting you, and you've been needing to try. And you've been about ready to give up and give in. Can I ask you, as you're to that point of giving up and giving in, can I ask you to give the Lord one more try? Say, Lord, I want to give you this. David said, the battle's not mine, but it's thine, Lord. When David was in that battle and being tempted and all that was going on with him, he said, it's not my battle, Lord. It's yours. Help me through it, Lord. Maybe there's something that's going on in your life you need the Lord's help with today. Father, as we come this morning, Lord, I thank you for your grace. Lord, I pray, Lord, I brought no harm to thy word. Father, I pray, Lord, you'll touch on each and every one that's come out this way, Father. Now, in Jesus' name, amen.
What? Daddy.
The morning service, May 15th, Mike and Kathy Morris, singing for us. June 19th, July 10th, August 12th, morning service. September 18th, Isaac 12th, homecoming. August 21st, wherever he is, will be here. October 9th, his home will be here. And November 13th, Dawson Trio. And May the 29th will be homecoming. And, first that day. That, maybe coming up, all the announcements coming up. And Bible school's right around the corner. So we'll be praying about that. Amen. Back spring summer. Huh? All right, schedule it. You were standing there. I got it on.
June 20th.
You was there, Andy. When did you not in?
Supposed to be last week.
Somebody went with free.
Tell me it's supposed to be you. I just want to preach.
But, we'll make up for you one Sunday night this month. Go praying, come praying, don't forget. Brother Randy, if you would, just let's.